In this update, a mid-October winter storm will impact the Great Lakes, and then a wonky polar vortex will send temperatures well below average for much of next week for the Midwest. But how cold will it get for your location? Hello everyone, it's Weather United here. Before we do get started with the video, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and sharing this video with your family and friends on social media. And if you want to become a member today, there is a join button below this video. So here's a look at that European model for Sunday morning, October the 16th. So if you're getting up really early in the morning, headed off to doing whatever you need to do, there is going to be a little bit of snowfall coming across portions of Quebec, Canada, and Ontario as this cooler air moves on in, and you can see it here on the thicknesses, an indication that there's a lot of cold air aloft, so we're going to have a little bit of instability to go along with that. So going by Sunday afternoon, that snow arrives into northern Wisconsin, portions of Minnesota there, also along to go with that. We're going to have some strong gusty winds as this tries to deepen, and then let's go into Monday morning. If you're headed off to work early in the morning on October the 17th, you have that snowfall that is going to be developing, some lake effect snow perhaps. Yes, northern Michigan and portions there of Ontario and Quebec, Canada could get a little bit of rain and snow out of this system, and that pressure is 995 millibars, so not super duper strong, but also quite superly dynamic. We can see a huge look here, a comma-shaped storm, an indication that the system is very well dynamic, and we have the winds on that storm. All right, and then that really just parks there. Look at this. I mean, this is pretty significant. Northern Michigan, also the upstate Michigan area, still getting the snowfall. Lake Huron could get also a little bit of snow. Lake Superior as well could get a little bit of very weird, interesting weather out of this wacky polar vortex kind of flow that is setting up. And that goes all the way into Wednesday and Thursday next week, and that low is just going to hang around for a little longer, possibly through most of next week perhaps. So let's take a look at those snowfall totals here on the map, because people are wondering how much snowfall are we going to get out of this? Well, you may be asking, right? And that's why I'm going to provide you with my best answer. Okay, so the European model shows that snowfall totals here by the middle of next week could be on the order of maybe 1 to 2 feet of snow up here. But again, each of these runs are going to change. And a great example of that is if we look at the 0Z run, we can see how more, oh wait, not that run, sorry about that. So we can see the 0Z from yesterday, a lot lesser snow, only a foot of snow. And now this run, what the heck? We're seeing 2 feet of snow. So more than likely, there's going to be snowfall amounts anywhere between about 8 to 15 inches for these areas in the Ontario, Canada region. All right. And then, of course, if you are actually Quebec, that is, getting confused, but northern portion there of Michigan, you have maybe about a foot of snow. Again, that will really be dependent on how much cooler air comes out of the north over these warm lake waters. Remember, this is really early. This is a mid-October snowstorm for some locations and some lake effect snow. And then, of course, northern Wisconsin could get maybe anywhere between 6 to 12 inches of snowfall. So very early for a lot of you that are going to possibly having to deal with this. But hey, you know what? In October, you can celebrate. You could have a lot of fun in it because it's going to be a very wild, bizarre winter. I am predicting it's been in the models, and also I do forecast you will have an epic wild winter. So get used to the snowfall, because possibly by December, January, and February, it's going to get much more wild than it already is. So here's a look at the temperature anomalies. So first of all, this is for Sunday afternoon. Your temperature anomalies, 10 to 15 degrees below average in Minnesota, in the Dakotas, in Iowa, in Wisconsin, in portions there of Illinois. And then by, say, Monday afternoon, look at these temperature anomalies. These are well below average. The Climate Prediction Center also indicates, and therefore, that temperatures are going to be well below average for these areas because of what we are seeing here. So again, if you are in the Midwest, if you're in the Great Lakes, the Northern Plains, you could have temperatures anywhere between 10 to maybe 15, 20, maybe even close to 25 degrees below average. And this cold spell is only going to amplify by Tuesday. Look at this. I mean, portions of the Appalachians, of the Carolinas, as well as Tennessee, could have temperatures 25 degrees below average. But for the most part, you're going to have temperatures anywhere between 15 to 20 degrees below that climatological average. And I mean, this is a big whiff of cold air that's going to be sliding southward. So yeah, big old fat changes coming your way, believe it or not, and it's only going to go from here on through. So by the end of next week, it is still much colder than average in the southeast, in the mid-Atlantic, and the upper Midwest, including the Great Lakes. And then what does the European model want to advertise? A huge pattern change. Yeah, I mean a big 360. Warm across the Midwest and the eastern seaboard, with cooler weather developing back west. So this whole pattern is just going to go, it's going to be out of whack. We know it's crazy. We know it's bonkers, and it's going to remain bonkers because of our very weak polar jet stream and the whole overall circulation orbiting the kind of the Arctic Circle, what we call our Arctic oscillation. Really going to be just kind of going like this. It's going to be bipolar. It's going to be happy. It's going to be sad. And when it's sad is when the pattern is like this, when it's out of control. So temperature anomalies, or not your temperature anomalies, your air temperatures, we can see this colder air sliding southward here with those daytime highs for your Sunday in the 30s. What in the heck? Yes, you're getting daytime highs in the 30s, and then by Monday morning, you could have temperatures in the low to mid 20s. How about that? That's cold than what you're used to. And so it's going to remain that way. So by Tuesday morning, big patch of cold air. You can feel it. It's in the deep south. It's in the southeast. It's even in the eastern seaboard. Look at this, that cold front really feeling its footprint over those locations. So yeah, you're gonna need sweatshirts, you're gonna need even the heavy jackets, because it's gonna be cooler. And yes, to make matters more concerning, there's gonna be some strong winds on this too. So if we look at the 12Z run, we can see big wind chill values that are anticipated with this cold air. So even so, it's about 25 to maybe 30 degrees. It might even feel like in the teens. So 15 to 20 degrees, it may feel like in Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. All thanks to this huge lobe of cold Arctic air that is sliding on through. And so in the short term, we can see this on the European 500 millibar height anomaly. So where there's patches of blue and green indicate it's going to be cold. Yes, you know how our eyes are. Blues are cold to our eyes. Reds and oranges are warm to hot to our eyes. So we can see below average heights mean below average temperatures, and cooler air that's going to be aloft. So we can see this shaping up. It stalls. It just kind of sits there. And then another lobe of this energy really amplifies by the weekend, by Sunday. And then look at this, by Monday, it really kind of slides into place. Like literally the entire eastern portion of the US is seeing below average heights. So that means below average temperatures, but not always the same. You're gonna have cooler air underneath this ridge too, because cold air is dense. It's gonna kind of not want to mix out very well. There's our ridge back west, of course, bringing in a blowtorch inferno, warm temperatures for the month of October. I mean, this has been really unusual, and this area of low pressure could really hang around all the way perhaps into Friday. But here comes a pattern change before we move on to the next section of this video. Whole flip here, trough back west, ridge back east, and that means what? Cooler temperatures back west, warmer than average temperatures back east. Now to your temperature anomaly chances forecast. So is it going to be warmer than average for you, or is it going to be very cold and birdy for your location? Well, let's take a look at that. So for October the 19th through the 23rd, you're going to have a likelihood of below average temperatures all across the eastern seaboard, simply putting it into words, and then above average temperature chances likely for California, for the Pacific Northwest, for the Northern Rockies, and even for portions of the desert Southwest. So huge extreme. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, you got fall winter-like weather on one end of the country when we're literally in fall, and then you got literally summery-like weather in the month of October, and it's fall when we shouldn't have it. So this is really kind of terrifying and extreme for this time of the year. But yeah, there's a pattern change coming. Between October the 21st and the 27th, likelihood of temperatures to be above average for the high plains and even for portions of the Northeast. You can see it right here. You can even see some of that warmer than normal chance temperature coming into the region, with below average areas, chances leaning below by that 21st to 27th time frame. Precipitation below average, so it's going to be dry, it's going to be windy, it's going to be cooler for much of the midsection and for the eastern half, with above average or leaning above chances for rainfall or snowfall depending on elevation for the west and the desert southwest. This continues also into October 21st and the 27th, with above average rainfall and snowfall for Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, the Four Corners, and even for the Deep South and the Southeast, with still below average anomalies chances here for the Great Lakes. So probably not going to have much of a active winter for at least, or for the early on, at least for the next couple of weeks down here across Chicago. You all need the rain, but unfortunately, it's going to be another couple of weeks before you get anything substantial, unfortunately, for your location. You also know what's wonky? Wonky weather means you might want to subscribe to the YouTube channel to get latest weather content on a daily basis here at Weather United. It's an honor for you to be here, helping support the work that I do, but not only that, to track these weather systems, because yeah, this is wild, and also my channel is wild with content. All right, but anyways, thanks for watching. Be back with you more tomorrow with another update on this wacky madness weather pattern.